Here goes.
The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters. We'll bring you the news and reviews of your favorite brews. I'm Dan Baker. I'm joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hafner.
and of course the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
Man, oh man, it feels
Man,
like
oh,
it has
man.
been so long since
Man.
we have done this. So many things have happened in all of our lives since the last time we recorded, and I'm sure we will get into updates about it. But of course, I want to say to you listening to this, thank you for coming back and listening to us again. We appreciate that you're here for this ride. And in fact, today, we're going back to basics. This is just us. Hostful, guest list.
It's Hostful. It's just us.
Except us-ish, yeah. Except for a little
Yeah.
later on, we're going to get the skinny on Effort of Brewfest from our pal Patrick, who is one of the organizers. So that should be all well and good and cool and fun. And, Steph is taking a picture, and I see a Workhorse logo.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a 4-pack of the
You got to
Workhorse
do all your
something.
intro stuff before I talk about why I'm
True.
drinking that.
Everything in its place. You can follow along. Online, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are Beer Busters. No, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We are Beer Busters. Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. There's also beerbusterspodcast.com/shop. There's YouTube, where we are Beer Busters Podcast. And there's patreon.com/beerbusters, where you can get access to the cool behind-the-scenes goodies and the archive of punishment videos and that thing that we tried to do for all of 2 episodes called Blockbusters. It's a lot of fun on there. As little as $1 a month gets you access to all this cool stuff.
I want to say you mentioned the shop, and there's a lot of things I want to mention, but this reminded me. I was recently speaking to one of our patrons, Topher Simmons, who told me that he purchased and regularly uses both of the face masks that are available.
Oh, cool.
At beerbusterspodcast.com/shop, which was cool to hear because I didn't think anybody actually bought the face masks, let alone use them. So it was good to hear a testimony from a satisfied customer.
Well, and this may also be a good chance to shout out to all the lovely people that we saw that night at Poor Man's. Topher
That's
being
the
one
other
of
thing.
them.
Yeah.
Poor Man's was gracious enough to reach out and offered to do a charity night for our bonus mom / aunt Linda as she continues to fight her battle with cancer. And it was overwhelming, all of the familiar and distant familiar faces that showed up that night to come out and see us and to support her. And it was a lot of fun. I was there pretty much open to close adjacent.
Close adjacent.
I think we were in our cars by maybe like an hour after doors actually
it's like
closed, but
9:30-ish.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the staff utterly amazing.
They were
They
so
were
cool.
great.
Yeah.
So, but thank you to the staff at Poor Man's. Thank you to Ryan and Sam, et cetera, et cetera. Like it was just a really, really cool night.
And I don't know if they announced it on any socials or anything, and I don't know if we did either, but I will use this time to officially announce the grand total that we raised that night to help Linda in her battle against this and help with the bills and everything. $1,120.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty nice. And another thing I think that Topher was telling me that night was because Dan and I got there a little later, coming from Philly sometimes takes a while. He had mentioned that a family came in earlier, didn't know the event was happening, but had a cancer survivor in their family. And when they found out that the benefit was for Linda fighting leukemia, they donated $400.
Yeah.
They just dropped $400 and they don't even know us, didn't even know the event was happening.
Yep, it was
And,
something like their daughter went through it, and it's like 15 years ago and is a survivor and doing well now. But because it was the same exact thing, they want to literally pay it forward. So whoever this anonymous family was, thank you so much. If you are listening to this and you know them, give them a hug from us.
Tell them thanks. But yeah, thanks to everyone.
And I want to thank those that even reached out that couldn't make it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that, had other commitments or other things going on, but sent really nice messages. Many donated to the GoFundMe since they were unable to attend. So whether you were there physically or there in spirit, we thank you and we love you.
Yes. And if you weren't able to make it and you do want to do something, if you feel generous enough to donate, and we can understand if you're not in a position to do that. That's totally understandable. The GoFundMe is still going. It's still going strong. We have a short URL for it. It's bit.ly/BakerFam23. And you can also, part of fighting leukemia is most patients, if not all, end up needing a bone marrow transplant. And you can go online to bethematch.org and get a cheek swab kit to find out if you are a match for anyone on the list, not even if it's just Linda, for anybody. And seeing firsthand what this can do to somebody, and Linda's as tough as they come. And it's a fight that nobody should have to go through. So if you want to help, like I said, bethematch.org. You just swab your cheek, you send it in, they tell you if you're a match for somebody, and then when it's your time, you go donate.
Yes, but you do have to be 40 or younger.
Right, that is
which
true.
Makes me feel very, very old.
Yeah, absolutely. As
I've never been too old for anything, and I'm very close.
I'm way too close to the next birthday, and I'm not ready for it. But I also want to mention that earlier in the week, we did another fundraiser at our local roller skating rink, which huge turnout, amazing response. But first time Wayne and I have been on roller skates in a very long time. And I learned something about you and your brother, Daniel. I did not know that the two of you took skating lessons.
Yeah, you told me this at Poor Man's, and this still is news to me that I took skating lessons.
I loved them. I remember I loved skating lessons.
Wayne was skating around that rink like he's been doing it his entire existence. Every year he's been alive. I, on the other hand, was very close to the boards, did 2 laps, and I'm like, this is it, because I'm probably going to break something. I was terrified.
Yeah, last time
I've ice skated a lot more than roller skated, and
that I can't do.
It's a lot different. I was trying to move my feet the way I know how to in ice skates, and it's just it's not the same.
No, last time I went roller skating was probably like 6th grade, and I fell enough times that I split my pants wide open.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I had to call Mom, and she brought me a new pair of pants to the skating rink.
Nice. That was a lot of fun. I didn't know if I would be able to skate. Like, I haven't skated for a very long time, but as soon as I did, I was like, I remember this, and I very much enjoy it. And I was just like off.
You had like the biggest grin on your face the entire time. I had fun just watching you skate.
It's very freeing. I don't know, it's just very relaxing. But I want to shout out Chrissy, who put together Linda's daughter, our stepsister, along with the school and everyone there. I don't actually really know a lot of people from the school, but shout out to them for putting it together. It was an amazing event. They did a raffle, so many prizes. Jess, my wife, donated a bunch of prizes. She has connections to a bunch of museums here in Philly, and actually won one of the tickets that she donated, which was pretty cool. But it was an amazing event. It was super fun.
It was a good time.
Yeah, I'm bummed I couldn't make the skating night, but I heard it was great.
Yeah.
Dan, you alluded to the workhorse can that I was holding.
I didn't allude to it. I straight out mentioned it.
You did. This past weekend, we stopped by Workhorse because, as you remember, 2 episodes ago, our dear friends from Pink Boots Philly brewed for the International Women's Day. So our friends from the Philadelphia chapter of the Pink Boots Society. And I saw that it was released. And of course, I wanted to get to Workhorse and try it at the source and pick up some cans. And this beer is a 6.5% West Coast IPA with lemon called Simply the Zest, which, I mean, come on, we love puns. And I knew I was going to like this beer because I really love West Coast IPAs, but I have to tell you, I was blown away. This beer is delicious. I didn't hesitate to grab a 4-pack to take home. I plan to grab more next time I'm there if they still have it, which they probably won't. So I should have planned ahead of time better. But it's one of those beers that not only do I want to drink a lot of it, I also want to share it with other people. It's one of those beers where you're like, you got to try this beer. I want to see you experience this beer and hope that you enjoy it as much as I did. But it's so good. So if you're in the area, you're able to get to Workhorse. I'm not sure if they are distributing it at all at any of their accounts. I know like you can get Workhorse beers pretty much everywhere now, but I highly recommend you go to the brewery anyway. We were actually there stuck in that thunderstorm on Saturday night.
Oh yeah, wow. That was nuts.
I was having terrible flashbacks because it started to hail, and I'm like, please don't let my car get destroyed. Please don't let my car get destroyed. but we wrote it out, and I'm glad that we did. Everything was fine, and then we had a nice, chill, relaxing drive home. But it was a really good time. And I prior to COVID, which this could be an interesting conversation as I was thinking about topics we could talk about. Prior to COVID, a lot of breweries like Workhorse, you would go in, just find a spot to sit or sit at the bar, and that was that, and you went up to the bar when you're ready to order. Like, it was really chill when you visited most breweries. And now COVID, and since some breweries like Workhorse, you'll go in and you'll be greeted by someone, which is lovely. I love that. And typically they will seat you. So when we got there, really nice girl, greeted us. We said we just wanted to grab some beers. There were no spots at the bar. The Phillies game was on, so everybody was there watching the game. But she found a nice table in the corner where we still had a great view of everything, but we were kind of off to the side. And they do that online ordering still on your phone. So you scan the little QR code at your table and you order, and you start your own tab, and you press when you're ready to order, and they just bring it to your table. Like, I love it. I think some of these things that were put into place during COVID and breweries are continuing to do, I think they are positive changes that are made. But I really enjoyed that. I was like, yep, I'll order that. And here it comes. And I'll order that. I'm done. Close my tab.
Yeah. Side note, you were at Workhorse at the same time, if not right after, Bridget's sister and brother-in-law and their newborn. This was Workhorse was the newborn's first brewery.
Oh.
Yeah, I like some of the things that came around during COVID, technologically and in the service industry. I don't like that tipping went out the window. Remember to tip your servers and take care of them, because it sucks that they make $2 an hour plus tips, but hey, the plus tips makes them live. Anywho, off of that soapbox, delivery was good. Shipping is something that came around because, Steph, how many breweries have you ordered beer from in Pennsylvania that gets shipped to your door?
Oh, God.
Right? A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all good. QR codes for the menu? Get a paper menu out of my face. I don't want that anymore.
Yeah, I think I was going to say the thing I do like is the QR codes to order. I also like when they take it that step further, and it's not just like a link to their website menu, but it's actually like you can place your order, you can split your check, you can leave your tip, everything right on the phone or the website or whatever. I do think they should still have paper as an option, though, because it does feel a little bit like everybody has a smartphone, but just in case, what if somebody can't for whatever reason?
We had a paper menu also, a beer and food. And when we were sitting there, I was reminiscing about the first time we recorded with Dan there, before they were open to the public. There was no furniture in there yet, and the bar was set up. But I remember we had to send someone out to get a corkscrew because we had a bottle that was stemlered, and the bar wasn't stocked with tools, so we couldn't open it. And just to reminisce back then and how much they've grown. But one of the specific stories, I remember him talking about how he didn't want to put a kitchen there. And I remember his dream of having multiple food trucks there at all times, like in that little area outside the entrance. And I think he probably quickly realized that food trucks can be a little unreliable.
Yeah.
But they do have an on-site kitchen now, which is technically a mobile kitchen, I guess you would call it. It's kind of, but they have a really decent menu for brewery choices. We had just eaten, so we didn't order any food, but I was watching the food go by, and they have wings, and they have 8 different flavors of wings. They have some great appetizers. They have a bunch of sandwiches. It's just, I know it maybe wasn't quite his original vision for the brewery, but I was kind of impressed, and next time I kind of want to go hungry and try some of the food that they have.
I had a feeling they were going to do something with food because not too long ago their menu changed and they really pared it down. It was 2 appetizers, 4 entrees or sandwiches or whatever, and then you could get a cookie or something as a dessert.
Yeah.
And I knew that this kind of meant they're preparing for other things. So I'm glad to hear that it worked out. I'm glad the food.
It's not a huge menu by any means, but I think they were really smart with the things that they put on the menu.
Yeah.
And
I even think when I looked at it, I don't know if they had wings, and if they did, I don't think they had multiple flavors.
Multiple flavors of wings.
I know. Can I get one of each?
Oh, we sort of alluded to when we were talking with Patrick before or after this, whenever Dan decides to insert the interview, um, about not getting out as much as we did before COVID. And it's kind of a nice feeling to get out there and visit breweries again. Pre-COVID, I was going to Workhorse all the time, and now I find myself just if I'm going to go out, I'm staying more local than I did before, perhaps. This past weekend, we went to River Rising Brewing in Makunji. I hadn't been there before. Some people told me about it, and it was a nice day, and they have a great big deck and an outdoor area. So we hung out there, but it's been a long time since I've ventured out and gone to a new brewery that I haven't been to before. So it's nice to do that.
I can't think of the last new brewery I went to. The last one I was at that was new to me, and this is kind of embarrassing, was Attic. We went to Attic back in January.
I love Attic.
Oh, it was so cool. We ate at the barbecue place, and we had beers before and I think one after, if I remember right. And then the next day, I tested positive for COVID.
Whoops.
So that sucked. I'm not saying it's Attic's or the barbecue place's fault. Just bad timing is all. The beer is really good. I mean, we in the beginning of the pandemic, when everybody was doing their home delivery of beer, Attic was one of them. And Wayne, you and I ordered from there when they did their Black is Beautiful one. That's why we found out about them. I loved it. I mean, they had a table beer that I ordered. Holy God, was that amazing.
Yeah, Attic is very cool.
Yeah, and it's a cool spot. I'm glad I finally got to go there.
They also, I know I mentioned to you guys that Jess and I were taking ballroom dancing classes. And that's through something called the Mount Airy Learning Tree. And it's just a bunch of like local places, people mostly, who give classes and all kind. Attic is on there. They have 2 courses on there. One is about like appreciating IPAs. And I think the other is just like a general, like, see behind the scenes at the brewery. I don't remember the details, but I thought it was really cool. I was just flipping through the catalog. I'm like, Attic Brewing has classes on this
awesome.
Community learning program, which is pretty cool.
Do you almost think that maybe subconsciously there's a risk to visiting new places that you haven't been before? I mean, I know so many of my favorite places have closed, whether permanently or temporarily. Like my favorite Indian food place is temporarily closed right now. I saw Fermentary Farm is taking a break, and they are temporarily closed right now. Just a lot of our favorite spots are gone. So I think the ones that remain, I feel like if I'm going to go out, I need to be loyal to the places that are close by, and I want to remain in business. And maybe like if I go to Philly, of course I'm going to go to Human Robot, because I love their beer. I love the guys that own the place and that work there, and I want them to be around forever. But then am I missing out on checking out something new that could be equally as amazing because I don't like Memphis Taproom is gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe subconsciously there's like risk to trying new things.
But I think a big part of the reason that there's been such a shakeup is because there was a global pandemic, So like, I don't know. I mean, the effects of that are obviously still happening, but I think places that have survived this far are probably okay. I just don't know that you need to take on that sort of concern necessarily. I think it's fine to just not forget your favorite places. I don't know. It almost feels like you're being hard on yourself. And I feel like you don't need to be.
I mean, you've known me my entire existence, and that is my personality. So
yeah,
I don't know. And I find that I would rather go and spend quality time at one place.
Yeah.
Than jump around and go to 5 breweries in one day.
I was talking to somebody the other day about like binge watching and rewatching shows. And I think it can kind of apply to this. Like if you rewatch one of your favorite shows, it's a comfort zone. You're sort of re-entering an hour of TV that you previously enjoyed. So there's no risk involved. You love it. There's no surprises or anything. So same thing when you go to your favorite places. There's no surprises.
No, and that's a really good point, because I also think that there is social anxiety that goes along
Oh,
with
absolutely.
going out again since the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
And I think one way to find comfort in being out and enjoying it is going to the places that you enjoy, or the people there, or it's going to be money well spent,
Yeah.
because everything is really freaking expensive right now. So if I'm going to dish out $8-9 for a beer, I want to make sure it's a beer that I'm really, really going to enjoy.
That's the risk that I see. Like, if the beer's not good, if the food's not good, I feel like I kind of wasted my money and my time.
Well, I completely agree.
I don't want to feel that way anymore. Especially like nowadays, I try to eat a little bit healthier than I used to. I've been slipping on that recently, but that's a different story. But yeah, I always look at it when I tell people why I don't try new cheesesteak places. Because I only give
you live in Philly and you know better.
Well, I know. But I also I give myself a certain amount of red meat allowance. And if I waste my red meat allowance on a bad cheesesteak, I'm not going to get a good cheesesteak tomorrow night. I am waiting until the next time I feel like I can let myself do this. So if I go and the beer is bad and the food is bad and I wasted my money and my time, that money's gone. Thankfully, I have a job again now and I'm making money again, but that money's gone. I'm not going to get it back. The lesson learned is I won't spend money there again, but that's kind of a tough lesson to learn sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I might disagree. I feel like if I go out and blow $50 at a place and then it wasn't that great, I mean, that's just the cost of trying new things. I don't know. I mean, I get the comfort and knowing what you're going to get and that you're going to enjoy what you're going to get. And I'm certainly someone who goes back to the same things over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. But I'm trying to be less like that. And I also recently learned, how they say the older you get, the faster time goes.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all know that. That's a fact that everybody learns as they get older. And one of the explanations people always say is because when you're young, a year is a much bigger fraction of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're 4, a year is 25% of your life. So it feels like forever. But one of the other reasons that time seems to go so fast as you get older is because you have less novel experiences. And so the more you do the same thing over and over again, the faster time seems to go by. And the more you do new and different things, the slower time seems to go. And I think it's worthwhile to seek out new experiences. I think it's important to be faithful to the businesses that you genuinely like and that have missions that you agree with and are doing good things in the world. But I don't think that should stop you from taking a risk on a new place. I think it's important to go out and find new things.
I can see the value.
TED Talk.
No, I can see the value in it. It's just when you get burned,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, $50 on a night, especially if it's UN Jess and it's a place that wasn't the best, it's not bad. I'm mostly looking at it as I'm still coming from a point in my life where I was unemployed and didn't know when my next actual paycheck was going to be here. So going somewhere I didn't know and taking that chance was a big deal.
Yeah. It's also different, for a Tuesday night dinner. If I'm going to order something on a Tuesday night, I'm going to order from a place I know. Yeah. And it's going to be good. But if I'm going out on a weekend to have fun, I think then being a little more open. But yeah, I get where you're coming from, especially when you have to watch every penny, for sure.
So speaking of new experiences, when I went to the Queer Beer Fest last summer, which in my opinion was one of the best fests I've ever gone to in my entire life, I met the people from Lost Boy Cider. They are in Alexandria, Virginia, DC suburb. They make a pickle cider. And they had sort of the season for it was finishing up. So they had the last of it at the fest, and I tasted it. And no surprise to anyone that's listened to our podcast, I loved it because I love a pickle beer, cider in this case. But they just posted on Instagram 2 days ago that it is out again. Ooh. And I'm on spring break right now. I have a couple days off. So I'm do I drive all the way down to Alexandria, Virginia to a cidery, which, I'm not really a big cider fan. Though I'm starting to learn and appreciate them, especially the drier ones. But I kind of want to go there just to get this pickle cider. So that kind of feels like the old me a little bit pre-pandemic, where I would just be I'm going here to get this because I want it.
Yeah, I think you should.
I don't know.
And I think you should get another cider that you haven't had before while you're there.
Yeah, I totally
see. But the trip is inspired by something that. So you said you had this at the.
I had this particular cider. I did have, yes.
So the trip is inspired by something she knows she likes.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, I get it. Well, a trip to any brewery, whether you've been there before or not, is inspired by something you like. That thing is beer. Just because you haven't had that beer, you're going there to drink beer.
True. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I have the motivation when I get up one day this week to drive 2.5 hours for a cider. I mean, obviously other things will be involved. It's not going to be get the cider and drive home. It would, you plan other things around it, but I love a pickle beer.
Pickle cider. So is it just like sparkling pickle juice? Like, what does it taste like?
It is, they
just
describe
because cider
it as refreshing and funky, not salty or vinegary. It's fresh cucumber from a local orchard. So it's fresh cucumber puree added to base cider and then allowed to age. And then spices are brewed in hot water like tea, and then they're added to the cider.
Okay.
I really tried to get them on the show last summer, and like it didn't kind of work out. So I'm like, well, maybe if I go, I can try to open that connection again.
No,
I don't know. It's just ciders are something I've never really liked, and it's something that I'm dabbling in. We went to Chatty Monks, and they have a dry cider and an off dry cider that I'm really enjoying, both of them very much. And I never thought I would have a local brewery where I would choose to consume their cider.
What is off dry?
I was going to ask that too. Yeah.
I don't know. Would that be like semi-dry?
Wet.
Okay. So it's like a degree of dryness.
Well, and I think I've also, and because I associate sweetness with cider, assume there's so much residual sugar. But John was telling me that the residual sugar in these ciders is like next to nothing. So, I mean, I don't know what like the calorie content is and all that other nutritional stuff, but when you get older, those things sort of matter. You think about the sugar you're consuming and the alcohol you're consuming and the calories you're consuming. Like those are things to consider, especially if you're going to consume more than one beverage in an evening. So
yeah, and you're not getting any carbs because there's no grain. Oh, I guess
that's the other thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I historically didn't drink ciders because I didn't care for them, but also I always had this preconceived notion that they weren't good for me.
Yeah.
But in some ways they could be healthier depending on the beer choice.
Yeah. Well, and I think because like you think like apple juice, which is just like pure sugar.
Straight sugar.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like most fruit juices that you buy at the store, it's just like sugar water flavored with some fruit.
I have been given information. So a dry cider has less than 0.5% residual sugar and are typically more acidic. An off dry cider is 1 to 2% residual sugar, and then a semi-dry or semi-sweet cider, they're above 2%, some as much as 4% residual sugar.
So those percentages, is that a percentage of the original sugar, or is that a percentage of like the volume of the? Do you know what I mean?
I believe the residual, it's what's left over after.
From the initial amount of like.
Correct, after fermentation.
Which makes a lot more sense because if it wasn't, it would be a lot of sugar. Like 4% of sugar, as in like by volume, would be a lot.
Right, because most of the sugar that you are extracting from malt or that you are getting from apple cider, the intention is for the yeast to consume those sugars in order to create alcohol, but also CO2 and all the other lovely things they produce. And then residual is what is left over. Math.
Yay.
Math. Ratios and percentages.
Well, now seems as good a time as any to find out the details about the return of one of our favorite events. I mentioned earlier that we were going to talk to our friend Patrick from Ephrata Brewfest. Well, as we were just talking about before we were officially recording, it was officially podcast time. Hey, it's spring-ish. I guess it's officially on the calendar spring as we are recording this because it's the beginning of April. But warmer weather is here, and warmer weather will continue to be here. And that leads to things like drinking and drinking outdoors responsibly, of course, and beer fests. And I say all that to say one of our favorite festivals is coming back, and we have joining us right now to talk about it Patrick Reed, who is one of the organizers of the Ephrata Brewfest. Patrick, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you, Dan. Happy to be here.
Woo, we are happy to have you. Why don't we dive straight in? What everyone, I'm sure, is dying to know. When is the fest this year?
Sure. So it's June 24th, Saturday, June 24th, from 1 to 4. And it's at the Whistle Stop Plaza in Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
Good old Whistle Stop.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're not familiar, it's in the heartland of Lancaster County, Amish country. You want to come out for some local PA brews and some regional breweries. And I mean, that's the focus for us. We're small, 20, 25 brewers is typically what we have, a couple of food trucks, and it's just an open area right in the center of town, which, by the way, in the not too distant future, will be right next door to Poor Man's location.
That was the beer that exploded on my hand before we started recording. It's an Ave Pivo special.
Dude, so just good. Came off of another consecutive win. Breweries in PA. I mean, they keep the belt.
Hey, it's well deserved. It's well deserved. Yeah. Every beer is fantastic. Now, since you will be right next to their soon to open spot, safe assumption they are going to be pouring at the festival?
Yeah, so they'll be here.
It'd be weird if not.
Yeah, it would be very strange. But yeah, we have all of our local guys will be there. And I mean, ultimately, and I'm hoping it's this year, but again, their timelines are still TBD. But, how I foresee this in the future is, when the Brewfest's over, their facility is right next door. So the event will not really stop. It'll just kind of continue.
Yeah.
Transition.
It's a questionably official after party.
Yeah. Right. And I will also say Black Forest is also within walking downtown Ephrata. So, we've got other brewers. We've got St. Boniface. We've also have Truth Brewing, which is down in Akron, which
1.7 miles from Poor Man's.
That's right. I mean, they're so close. So close.
Not that I've driven between them many times.
Yeah, I can tell because that 1.7 is very specific.
It's also very fun for those that have never been there to try to figure out how to get there.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's not an easy place to find. They've got signs, but I mean, I think people are getting to find out who they are, and their beer is really good. Really good.
It has been my experience that some of the best breweries are the hardest ones to find.
That's true.
Yeah. In breweries, places that, you haven't heard of before or you can't get to easily. Yeah, sometimes the reward is at the end of the rainbow there.
Or the indication that they're open is just a single green light bulb in a dark alley.
Yep, we'll do it.
Very clandestine.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the Whistle Stop Plaza is always a great venue for the fest. I'm looking at the pictures on the website right now and just remembering how cool it was to be there for that. And no shortage of places nearby to go after the fest is over, like we've talked about. Really,
there's plenty of breweries around here.
And there's lots of parking, like for a downtown fest. And I just learned last week that there is a free parking garage a block and a half up from Whistle Stop Plaza off of, what is that, Lincoln, the one that's behind?
Yeah, there's an alleyway.
A free parking garage. I had no idea it was even
I didn't
there.
know free parking garages existed.
Yeah, me neither. I might have to bleep this out so that can stay our secret.
Well, and there's other public parking lots in Ephrata that are also free. So, there's a lot of free parking. If you just drive around and look behind some alleys right off of Main Street, there's free parking all over the place. So it's a nice small town where you can you can see the event from the Main Street on 322. You know what's happening. We have the entrance right off the main drag there. And we've got a band. So our band this year is Jimmy the Whale. So they're going to be playing. So we always have a live band there for the entire event. And then this Brewfest. So a lot of people are like, okay, well, why do you have it? Well, we have it to benefit 3 different organizations, 3 nonprofits in Ephrata. It's the Ephrata Library, the public library. It's the Ephrata Rec Center. And it's also Mainspring Ephrata, which is our downtown development, which actually helped coordinate everything with Poor Man's and their new location. So definitely some great organizations that the ticket sales and the sponsors benefit. We are up to like 14 breweries right now. We'd love to have 20 to 25. I will say, so last year it seemed like it was easier to get breweries than I thought it was after a COVID hiatus. So last year was number 5, this year's number 6, and it's a little bit trickier this year. Not gonna lie.
I wonder, yeah, because I guess not all beer fests came back all at once. It's sort of like slowly. So I imagine this year there's just more going on.
Yeah, I mean, people are feeling more comfortable with it. So I think there's more events. They've had time to plan. Obviously, there's a lot of food trucks that are out there that have really kind of proliferated during the shutdowns and stuff. So yeah, I mean, but it's going to be a great time. And again, our focus is really right now on PA. So 99% of the breweries that are going to be there are going to be from PA. And the nice thing too is that a lot of the people pouring are from the breweries. So, if you go to some larger fests, you're going to have just people who are designated pourers. You can't ask them a question about anything they're pouring because they don't know. They're serving you. But it's always nice when someone who either helped brew it or who owns the brewery or who pours at the bar regularly can tell you a little bit about what you're actually drinking.
Yeah, that is one of the cool things about the Effort of Brewfest. We used to say that all the time about Brewphoria too.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Festival where it was a little more intimate, not a huge list of breweries, and the people pouring, knew the beer. And Effort is the same way. I mean, when we've been there, we've seen owners, people we've had on the show, friends. I mean, every brewery you walk up to, you pretty much know the person. You're like, oh, it's the brewer, or it's the sales guy, or it's like somebody who can answer your questions and actually talk about the beer, which you don't, like you said, get at big beer fests a lot.
No, and I mean, I just like a smaller fest where, you can do that. You can see some of the stuff, talk to them about it, and really just enjoy the actual environment and not, and I mean, for a lot of people, you're drinking with your neighbors. So it's also a good time to be able to do that outside as well.
Cool.
I see that Stolen Sun is on the list, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, they're gonna have somebody pouring for them. I have never tried their stuff, so I'm excited to try
You are in for a treat. Everything they make is delicious. Hopefully they'll bring coffee too.
Yeah,
that would be awesome because I like both.
And they finally caved and brewed a lager.
And it's so fucking good.
No, Jonathan finally let Chris brew a lager, and it's really, really delicious. And I hope it's something that becomes a staple there because I don't know. I am a traditionalist at heart when it comes to beer at times, and I don't care if you want to brew the craziest IPAs or the craziest sours and pastry stouts. Brew what you want, but please just have one clean beer on the menu, whether it's a Kolsch or a simple lager, or just one nice, clean, easy drinking, no frills beer. I want my beer to taste like beer.
Beer flavored beer.
Yeah.
And for those that maybe don't know, Jonathan's son Dylan is currently competing in the latest season of American Idol.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
So he was on, what was the other talent competition he was on?
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent, and made it quite far there. So right now, as of recording, I think they're like doing the Hollywood Week stuff.
God.
And he's still in at this point. So they haven't really featured his story. So I don't know if that's foreshadowing with the producers or whatever, but it's really cool that we have a young talent locally, but also connected to the beer scene. And Jonathan is not only an awesome brewery owner and a cool all-around dude with ties to the Reading area, but he's also a super, super supportive dad. And it's every time I see him and he gives me the update on Dylan, it's neat to see the pride in his eyes. It's really cool.
So cool.
Maybe next year Dylan can perform at the Effort of Brewfest.
There you go.
Could be one of them.
I don't know. We love talent, and whenever we can find somebody who loves beer and loves singing while a beer fest is going on, that's a double bonus.
Yeah.
So I see that Isaac's is on here. And of course, we all know them as
like the sandwich place,
the sandwich place that has all their sandwiches named after birds. But I did hear, that a little bit ago, they started getting into the brew world. I have not been to an Isaac's with a brewery yet. I have not had any beer yet, but like, have you been, Patrick? Do you know the like vibe?
I haven't, but I know that they're growing. So it seems like they're doing some conversions, and it's been going for some time. So I think that the person who owns Isaac's, this is kind of like a passion to kind of do this gradual conversion. And so I'm actually excited because I have not been to one of their locations. I haven't been a lot of places for a little bit of time, so I'm starting to get out now again and do that. But honestly, I'm excited to have them here. I think it's cool to see a business kind of reinvent themselves. And I mean, listen, if they can brew a good beer or, have good beer on tap, I'm there.
Yeah, well, they make pretty damn good sandwiches. I will say that.
Yeah, they really do.
And potato salad. We can't forget the potato salad.
Oh, potato salad.
I hated the potato salad when I was a kid because it was red potatoes and they left the skins on it. But now I love that potato salad.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, no, I was a stupid child.
That's how I make my potato salad. So I have to say I'm embarrassed though. You're not gonna be able to see this, are you? The brewery that has this weird A looking logo.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I think it's a meadery, to be honest. I think that's who it is. Yeah.
That's really cool. You have a distillery on the list, Nomad Distilling Company, a meadery on the list. You got to get
Ales and mead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we do try and have a little bit of, different things, because obviously everyone who doesn't come to a brew fest, unfortunately, doesn't love beer, or in some cases they can't tolerate it because they have a gluten allergy. So it's important to try and have a little bit of diversity there. We're still pulling from local areas, but we do try and have some options for other people. Obviously, we have non-alcoholic beverages as well, but yeah, mead, we try and have 1 to 2 distilleries each year just to give people a little bit of something different. Yeah, so I think to answer your question, that's Artifice Ales and Mead.
Oh.
And so that's their logo.
It's a pretty cool logo.
It is pretty cool.
It is cool. Catches your eye.
Yep.
I hadn't heard of them before.
I don't think I have either. Who else do we have on the list? I know we've mentioned Stolen Sun. Of course, Poor Man's going to be there.
Yep, Big Dog will be there. We also have Boneshire. We're going to have Compass Mill, Tap House. Fetish is going to be there. Lancaster Brewing, which, I mean, Winter Warmer, one of my favorites. I mean, I love that beer. I don't know if you guys do, but that's one of my.
I do love Winter Warmer.
It's been
not
forever
sure that
since
I want
I've
it
had
in June, but
right.
No, but like when it comes out, like I have to get to the beer distributor, and I'm like, geez, like please still have some of this left so that I can get it. And I also know that like when I see it today, it's not going to be there tomorrow, so stock up while you can, because that one disappears quick. So we also have Oakbrook, which I think is a little bit more from the Reading area, so they're going to be there as well. We're going to have Poor Man's, which we mentioned, Royal City, which is over by Reamstown. We're also going to have Desperate Times Brewing, so that's a new one. We haven't had them before, so I can't tell you much about them other than they're signed up. And then
they're in Carlisle.
Okay.
Carlisle.
Yep. And then we also have Lebanon Valley Craft Brewing is also going to be there. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So they seem to be. They were taking a while, but they did open up. So I'm pretty excited to not only have them participate this year, but there is an actual location for people to go now and visit and have their beer. So it's pretty exciting because I think their place, from what I've seen online, it looks pretty awesome.
So I'm curious, you said this is year 6.
Yeah, this is year 6 with
crazy.
Yeah, which is a break because of COVID. So there would have been other years in there, but yes, we're on year 6.
So over the 6 years that you have done the fest, what are some of the things that some of the improvements you've been able to do, or what have you been able to do with the money that you've raised over the previous fests?
So obviously, when you're a nonprofit, sitting on a board of a nonprofit, trying to build different events that have the meat behind them, and these type of events take a lot of work. So between the 3 different organizations, the volunteers that we get, and everything, it's a lot of work. So all these organizations are putting this money towards, operations improvements. In the case of the library, they're doing lots of different events for the community, different programs, and so this helps support them. They're always working hard to make sure that they have enough funding to fund their staff, fund the programs. So, like, a lot of people don't really think about that, but these type of events really help, build that. So we rely on the Beer Fest to help be one of our core fundraisers at the Effort at Rec Center. And I know the library and Mainspring does as well. So one of the cool things that we've evolved with, and last year it was the first year for it, is a beer stein holding contest. So I was fortunate enough to be tapped to do the announcing. We actually at the rec got some officials who are officials like locally for high school sports who read up all the rules for the beer stein holding contest, like the official stuff. Like, this is a legit, if you win this, you go to another level, like you advance. So last year was the first time we did that. And it was really cool. We had men's and women's. We only had guys last year. So I think my biggest thing to your listeners is get some women out. Like, let's show up. I mean, it's not just a guy sport. Women are tough too.
Yeah, women can hold steins with the best of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in fact, I would think it would be awesome if we had somebody who just showed up a bunch of guys, because some of the guys we had last year were just like, we convinced them to participate the day of, and they get to keep their steins, which is a nice prize afterwards too.
Well, that's cool. What is about like the average, like how long does an average person last? I don't even have an idea of how long.
I mean, you're talking like minutes, because it's a filled stein. So it's not like, a 30-minute thing. We build it up, we start it, we get them holding their steins, and you really have to hold that thing out.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you start dipping, you get like 3 warnings and you're out.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's cool to see that people judge it. And I mean, there are some guys that, man, you look at their faces, they are straining. Just think, hey, it's a beer stein. How heavy can that be? But when you put that thing straight out and try and hold it for a period of time, 3, 4, or 5 minutes, man, your arm feels like it's on fire.
I think my problem would be I would have to give in to the urge to take a sip of beer.
Drink it. Yeah.
I don't think I can hold a beer that long and not take a sip and be like, oh crap, I think I lost because I just drank some of it.
Well, I think the key to that is, if you're going to lose graciously so that you don't waste and spill the beer.
Yes,
set it down gently.
Know when it's time to give up.
Yeah, that's right. Because no one appreciates spilled beer. No.
Just wear long sleeves and then fashion some kind of like crazy straw up your arm and then through your collar. You can.
I was going to say, or a metal rod.
Yeah,
anchor it.
Yep.
And
no, see, you're thinking of how to win. Dan and I are thinking about how to get us a beer.
Yep. Priorities, Wayne. Priorities.
All right.
Yeah. There's one thing. I mean, I would have to say the refs were pretty on it, so they're gonna notice if the level starts to sink. So you've got to drink that beer after you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the cool things that we did. We added, and I think we've also started to really kind of grow into the space and know like how many tickets we can sell. So the whole event, you're talking about 650 people. And that's over a course of several hours. So, I mean, it's not, we really try and make sure it's not packed. Nobody wants to be like, shoulder to shoulder with someone at a brew fest and not be able to get. So it's important to be able to keep the flow. So I think the nice thing here is you can get to the beer that you want to get to. And last year, I think we had one tap kick it before the end. So everyone brought a beer, and you could have whatever you wanted, whatever was sampled that day. You had access to it.
Getting to the beer you want to get to is, I think, an underrated thing. And I only say that because the last beer fest I was at was the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival. And like that's by nature going to be gigantic because it's outdoors,
crap.
There's concerts and all. But I could barely remember where certain beers were that I wanted. I got to try a lot of great beer while I got to see 2 of my favorite bands perform that day. That was really cool. But I also appreciate, I think, a little more having smaller event, smaller amount of breweries, and you know exactly where they are, and it's not oversold. So you can get there nice and easy. You can go up and get a refill of whatever your favorite was from that day and just call it.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's one of the nice things about what we've created. And I mean, we always love, we've got out of towners, we've got people that come and visit family just to go to this event. So we've got people from surrounding states, and that's kind of cool too, because it's fun to see a family go and enjoy an event like this. And just, you know, it's one of the things I wish I had. My family doesn't, no one really is a big beer drinker like I am. So I got to go outside my network. But it is cool to see, you know, multiple generations attend an event and enjoy it together.
That is very cool.
So tickets are on sale now.
Yep, it wasn't an April Fool's joke. They went on sale the 1st of April. We do that every year, and it's just like, listen, it's not a joke. These are really for sale now. So yeah, they're for sale. And you can just look up the Ephrata Brewfest on Facebook. It'll connect you with a link to be able to go purchase the tickets. I do recommend getting tickets before you go. We typically don't have a ton left. Like last year, we sold out. We really didn't have too much at the door. So I think it's important, if you want to go, get them before you go.
And it's $40 a ticket?
Yeah.
$40 a ticket, $10 for a designated driver.
Correct. Yep. Yeah.
Very cool.
So
cool.
Not crazy. And again, I mean, for this one specifically, there are 3 organizations that the proceeds from that go to benefit. So hopefully you get some great beer and you do something by making a charitable donation. So, you know, I think it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I mean, if you're listening to this and you haven't been to the Ephrata Brewfest, where have you been? Because we've been talking about it for basically the entire time it's been around. It's fun. It's one of the best beer fests that you can go to. It's a really cool location. Downtown Ephrata is very nice. And like we said, you'll be right next door to the new Poor Man's location, which I am excited about because I really want to see that.
I can't wait to see it. It's going to be awesome. That Sprecher building is just a awesome historical building, and I'm just excited to have a brewery in downtown Ephrata.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They better not stop selling Mama Son's egg rolls.
I mean, that's never going to happen.
Never know. I'm just going to say it right now. I will boycott.
That would be like if he would stop brewing lagers. Like, it's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be all hazies from here on out.
That's a good
boy.
You know them.
Well, I mean, it's not like he's Ethan Buckman or anything.
Oh.
Shots fucking fired. Anyway.
Oh, boy.
Patrick, thank you so much for giving us the lowdown on Ephrata Brewfest, and I'm excited you guys are doing it, and I'm glad you have 3 organizations that you're going to be supporting through the ticket sales. That's awesome, and it's a lot of good work, and it really is an amazing fest. I love it so much. But thank you for taking the time to talk to us about it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's great to see all of you guys together, and you know, hey, give me a shout when you're in Ephrata the next time, and we can grab a cold one together.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
Definitely.
For sure.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Hey,
Thank you, Patrick.
Amazing.
Well, thank you to Patrick. And of course, as I said while we were talking to him, if you have never been to Ephrata Brewfest, what are you waiting for? You got to do it. It is such a cool event. Get the tickets early. The proceeds go to benefit really good organizations. And it's just an all-around fun time. You're going to have a bunch of beer that day that you really like from different cool breweries and meaderies and distilleries. Like, it's a... Every liver has an option here. But
Speaking of cool beer events,
yes.
So I cracked open a Human Robot beer. I'm drinking Kleinerwald, which is their Schwartz beer.
Oh,
you know my love of Schwartz beers.
Oh, is that the one they did with
Second District?
Oh, God, I had that there. Second District gave me a citywide with this beer. It was the best fucking citywide I've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great freaking beer. I got to tell you also, I don't have any cans of it left, but their Dunkelweizen that Human Robot just did might be in like my top beers of all time. And I hate myself for not buying like an entire case of it.
Wayne, I think I had that when we were there for your bachelor party.
It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything.
I love that beer. I mean, I love this beer also. This Schwartz beer is amazing. But I have made it my mission, no matter what, I am going to log jam in this year. I was unable to attend the last 2 years because of other commitments. And I am like, I put it in my calendar as soon as they announce the date. It'll be the first Saturday in June. Details and tickets, none of that's out yet, but I cannot wait to finally attend this event. For those that aren't in the know, it's at Cherry Street Pier in Philadelphia. A beer fest that is a love letter to all things lager and loveliness. And we're just so lucky to live in this area and have so many great beer events not terribly far from us. We're very lucky.
Yeah, that's true.
So since the two of you live in the city, I feel like you should also mark it in your calendar, and we should make it an effort to just go to a beer fest and have fun and not work a beer fest or record at a beer fest, just to like go and have fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that. And I told Jess that might be what my birthday request is to do log jamming. But yeah, I'd love to go. It always sounds like such a cool event, a celebration of loggers, and Human Robot is probably one of my favorite breweries, although I don't like to pick favorites, but definitely. And right around my birthday. So I think
it would be an amazing way to celebrate your birthday. It'll be a good time.
Awesome.
Excuse me.
Tell us how you really feel, Dan.
No, it's not that. I'm just still getting used to waking up.
I thought there was going to be more to that sentence.
Nope.
I'm just getting used to waking up in general. That's funny.
I saw a news story that I want to share.
Okay.
Can you play the clip, please?
Hey!
It's been forever.
It has been forever. Tesla is selling beer.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that Tesla. Yeah, with the guy that owns Twitter now. Yeah, according to CNN, few brands are big enough to sell 3 beers for nearly $100, but Elon Musk's Tesla may be one.
Wait, what?
Uh-huh. The electric car company has launched a limited edition Giga Beer, a Pilsner-style brew made in Germany. Presented in a glossy black sleeve, the bottle is designed to emulate Tesla's Cybertruck.
Because that was such a success.
Right, yes, clearly.
Does it say what brewery in Germany brews it?
Not that I see at the moment. And nothing I read earlier said it. But it does say the beer, which is brewed in Berlin, where Tesla runs one of its gigafactories, ships to 17 countries in Europe, including France and the UK, Spain, Switzerland, and Norway. And a pack of 3 costs €89, which is $97. I think it just bugs me that it's not even a 4-pack; it's a 3-pack because Elon Musk is a fuck.
Why is it a 3-pack? Are they
because
bottles?
They're bottles that look
bottles
like
is being
Cybertruck.
generous.
Yeah,
I'm looking at a picture of them now. They are an odd shape. I don't hate them. I don't think beer should be in them.
No. The company jokes that it is brewed for cyborgs made by humans, and Musk first talked about it in 2021 during an event marking the opening of the Berlin plant. The even worse part is this isn't their first foray into alcohol. In 2020, they debuted Tesla Tequila, which came in a lightning-shaped bottle and sold out for every bottle was $250.
I see the lightning-shaped bottle, too.
So it's like a collector item.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Tesla fanboys they're going to buy whatever has that logo on it. Also, this same year that they debuted their tequila, apparently they also debuted a pair of mini gym shorts, a playful hit back that investors who had shorted Tesla or bet that its stock would drop. The Cybertruck was first announced and revealed in November of 2019, but still has not started production.
Yeah, why would they want to evoke the Cybertruck? That's kind of an embarrassment for them.
I also just think it's weird that a car company is selling alcohol. Obviously, we all understand don't drink and drive, but that's blurring the lines a little bit, and you're kind of encouraging it.
You know, I didn't even think about that, but that's a very good point.
It's like when Matthew McConaughey was a spokesperson for a car company and Wild Turkey at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, I can, in one commercial break, see your commercials telling me to drink and then telling me to drive.
Did you guys see that Neshaminy Creek Brewing is brewing a line of beers inspired by Rita's Italian ice flavors?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. A friend of mine texted me and asked if I wanted to go, but I am not free that day. April 15th is when it launches, and I only know that because that's the day I'm not free.
I guess the first one is mango. Should be
is it?
interesting.
I mean,
They're gonna do like a version of the, what do they call them? The water ice and custard mix. I forget what they call that.
The gelato.
Gelato. Yes, yes. Although now that I say that, South County had a whole line of gelato beers, didn't they?
true.
Yes, back in the
and
day.
that's what I was gonna go at. Like they could do like a lactose milkshakey version, then, but that's been done.
They will not be available at Rita's shops. Duh. They will be available throughout Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, and Delaware.
Well, they're definitely a Pennsylvania company, but I don't know if they're specifically Philly or somewhere
I
around.
think they're Bucks County, just like
That sounds about
Neshaminy
right.
Creek. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like some mom and pop shop, and then they sold to some conglomerate, I want to say, who then expanded and the quality dipped, let's say.
Yeah, I haven't had a Rita's in quite a long time.
I really like the can art.
Steph, do you have a Pokemon behind you there?
No, it's a T-Rex.
Oh, just a regular old T-Rex. Okay. I mean,
There's
it's
nothing
also
regular
like,
about her.
I was going to say, it's also...
Her name is Rexy, and she's the queen of all the dinos.
You know, it was recently discovered that T-Rexes likely had lips covering their teeth.
Yep.
They looked like Komodo dragons, not alligators.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it too. I mean, they got the short arms already. I mean, I feel like the T-Rex is like the scariest goofy animal in the world.
I want an updated edit of Jurassic Park with lips. I want the lip edition.
What? And feathers.
And feathers, yeah.
You know.
I mean, we all know that birds are descendants of dinosaurs. When did the feathers come into play?
So you know that, so there are actually two classes of dinosaurs, one that are bird-like and one that are lizard-like, and it's based on the pelvic bone. I think they even say this in the Jurassic Park movie. It's based on the orientation of a particular pelvic bone. But the word, it's like Latin for like the bird-like ones is like lizard, and the word like the one that is like birds is the one that's called not bird or something like that, and the one that's lizard-like is called like bird-like. It's some weird mismatch where like it isn't what you think it should be.
Because you park on a driveway and drive on a parkway?
That sort of thing, yes. I realize this story would have been much better if I remembered what the actual terms were that I'm talking about.
Saurischia?
Yeah.
Translates to lizard hipped.
Lizard hipped. But the lizard hip is actually related to the bird pelvis or something like that. Like there's a weird...
Oh,
Dan's fact checking me.
I'm trying to, but this website has all sorts of pop-up ads that keep popping up when I'm scrolling.
It's funny that you say that. So April 29th will be 10 years since Dan and I recorded episode 1 of Beer Busters.
Yep.
So yay us. I'm not sure when this will release before then, but probably the episode closest to our anniversary. So happy anniversary to us. But it's funny. One of the things I remember about our early episodes is someone reaching out to us being like, why don't you just fact check yourselves? You literally have computers and devices. Like, you should just fact check yourself.
You could say that to literally every single person who has ever left a comment anywhere on the internet. Like, why doesn't anyone fact check themselves? People say dumb, stupid, wrong shit all the time.
We are elder podcasters, so our trolls were a little bit different back then.
Yeah.
I mean, believe me, I still say stupid shit. And this is what, 251 episodes? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I definitely say my fair share of stupid things.
But happy anniversary, guys.
Happy anniversary.
Sorry, I'm still reading about...
I also see other podcasts that like do these elaborate events and like beer releases when they get to milestones. And I'm like, I don't know the fucks for that.
No, we did our
event. If someone wants to reach out, we would gladly brew a collaboration beer with you. But I don't know that I have the effort to like initiate that at this point.
Well, we did it like a couple of times. Like we've already...
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we did that. We did that. Yeah. It's a lot of work.
It is. This is the longest I've done any one thing in my entire life. I have not done any one thing for 10 years.
Wow.
You've breathed.
That doesn't count.
Metabolized
I don't think that's
food.
quite what he means.
No, yeah, I know.
Longest job I ever had, I think, was 8 continuous years. I mean, obviously school doesn't count. I was in that for longer than 10 years. But yeah, this is the longest I've done anything, really.
Well, I think it's because we do it on our terms.
Right, yeah.
I worked at Old Country Buffet longer than we've been doing the podcast.
How long were you at Old Country Buffet?
12 or 13 years.
Oh my God, I didn't realize it was that long.
Yes, I got the job because somebody drugged me out of bed because I was unemployed and needed a job. And they just kept paying me, so I kept going for the next one. 12 or 13, I don't remember. Something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. I told you I do the same things over and over and over and over and over. And over.
We
Isn't that
are
the
creatures
definition
of habit.
insanity?
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you're
I'm not expecting
you're
different
not expecting
results.
anything new.
That's the insane part.
So I have a news story, but it's not a very happy news story.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
I saw that Guinness is shutting down the brewery in Baltimore.
Oh, I didn't get to go.
Yeah, so the visitor center and the restaurant is going to remain open.
Oh,
and there
okay.
is a pilot system in the visitor center. So apparently they are going to continue to brew experimental beers on site. But the brewery itself, I think they said 97 employees are going to get laid off. And they will cease operations in June. But like a few things run through my mind. First, they said they're still going to brew Baltimore Blonde, which is like when they opened that facility, that was like the Guinness beer that was brewed in Baltimore. So it's kind of like having Hershey's chocolate, but it's no longer made in Hershey.
Yeah.
I guess it's that kind of idea. But it's a massive facility. Like, I'm curious, like, what's going to happen with that space? Like, are they going to sell off the equipment and they're like, nope, we're done forever? You know, will it sort of... I don't know. But I was kind of bummed when I saw that. Not a place I go to often. You know, Baltimore, not terribly far, but a really cool brewery and a good beer and cool spot to hang out. But yeah, so that's a bummer.
I can't remember the last time I was in Baltimore.
I went to
It may have been...
What is that brewery? Oh, hold on. I gotta go ahead. Say your story and then I'm gonna fact check myself.
Hey, there we go. No, I went
check.
to a show in Baltimore the end of 2021, but I didn't really have time to do anything. I just drove down, parked, went to the show, and then left. I forgot they had the Domino Sugar building down there.
Yeah.
That was really
cool.
cool.
The Inner Harbor area is not quite as hopping in it as it was at one time.
I hate to say that I could kind of feel that decline coming.
Suspended Brewing.
I don't think I know them.
I haven't been to the brewery, but when we were down last for a show, we went to a really tasty vegan restaurant not far from the harbor. I can't remember the name of it, but so they had Suspended Brewing on tap. And after doing a little bit of research, apparently Suspended Brewing is a fully vegan and cruelty-free company, which is kind of cool. Kind of like Steph of 10 years ago, her dream was to open this sort of facility. But it was the first time in a long time that I had a beer and I was like, oh, who made this? Like it really impressed me. And I had a few of them. Oh, Double Zero was the restaurant, by the way, which is attached to a more bougie vegan restaurant. But this was like the more pizza side of things, and who doesn't want pizza? But I'm really, the next time I'm in Baltimore, that is my priority, is to get to Suspended Brewing and find out what they're all about and try more of their beers. But that was good stuff. We didn't really have the time, and because the show was approaching and it wasn't exactly close. I mean, in Baltimore, but not close enough to walk and have one more beer. But so that's what I'm looking forward to trying next time I'm down that way. And maybe I'll also have to hit up Guinness.
Yeah, I guess so.
I forget what beer I had at the show,
fun.
but it was good. It was a local brew. I don't know, whatever it was good. I probably didn't check it in because I wasn't thinking straight that day.
Well, and I feel like that's the thing. If it's a beer that you remember and you're like, who is this? And I definitely want to go back. And like I have their brewery website as one of my saved tabs on my phone. Like, I feel like that means something. I don't know. The spot looks cool. Baltimore has some decent breweries. I don't get down there as much, but
Okay, so here is a question that I don't even think I have an answer to quite yet, but I'm going to think about it while one of you speaks. What is your favorite brewery you've come across while traveling?
Machine Head or Machine House, 100%.
Wow, you had that just ready to go. I'm impressed.
100%. I was just talking to Sam from Bond Place about them.
You had that is ready to go.
Probably one of the most memorable brewery visits I've ever had in my life. It is all English cask ales and only full pours. And I sat there until I drank every single beer they had on hand pump, and they were all amazing.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that you had that ready to go.
Magnolia in is that San Francisco, California? Magnolia was really good too.
Cool.
The OG location, but I don't know that the smokehouse is open. That may have opened and closed, but that was a memorable brewery as well. And I'm pretty sure I had milds and English ales there too.
I'm going through my Google Photos trying to remember the breweries I've gone to when I've traveled. I was thinking when we went to London and we did that Bermondsey, they have that brewery mile. And I'm just looking at the pictures now. I mean, the breweries were cool. I don't know that any one of them or any one beer like particularly blew me away, but just like being there and like that whole area and some of the other little cool shops around there was definitely one of my more memorable brewery experiences while traveling. Trying to think.
When I was in Germany, Augustiner Brau was the highlight of the visits for me.
Had a really good full English breakfast that I will never forget, but I don't even remember the name of the place.
Beans don't belong on a breakfast plate.
Everything does. And they had a vegan version. Jess and I both got a full English breakfast. She got a vegan version and I got a regular, and they called her a fuddy-duddy.
Fuddy-duddy.
Because she said she wanted a specific number of pumps of vanilla in her coffee. And they said, here's your fuddy-duddy coffee.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
It was pretty funny.
See, I think for me, I mean, there's the obvious answer of Love Lady out in Henderson, Nevada. I love them. Mojave Brewing, who's right across the street. They have a cask on. Their beer was really good. When we were in Austin, we went to Lazarus Brewing. They were really, really good. We went to Deep Ellum in Dallas. They were good. I was wearing a banana shirt that day, and there were 3 other dudes at the bar wearing a banana shirt that day. And I should have organized a picture with the 3 of us. 4 of us. But oh well. I'm trying to think. There was another one we went to in Deep Ellum in Dallas that I can't think of off the top of my head, so I'm trying to go back through my Untapped.
The last time we were up in Brooklyn, I finally got to Talea, a woman-owned brewery in Brooklyn, and I didn't want to leave. That was such an amazing spot. Amazing beers. And I follow them on my personal Instagram. So there you go. That tells you something. And every time I scroll and they post something new, I'm like, oh, can we go up to Brooklyn just so I can? They had just released a light lager, I think the week that we were up there. And it was just, I mean, all their beers were so good. They're so delicate and smart with their fruit beers. Their IPAs are so lovely. There's just a really lovely, delicate touch to all of their beers. And I love them. Dan has a face right now.
Sorry, I forgot about this one. How could I forget about it? Pegasus City Brewery in Dallas. Oh my God, it was so cool. Right in the heart of downtown. It was this really cool Art Deco building. The beers were so unbelievably good. I bought a glass to bring home. I wish I would have gotten a shirt, but I'll get one next time I'm there. It's just, they were so fucking good. If you go to Dallas, Pegasus City Brewery, you have to go. You have to go.
And I even think beyond the beer, sometimes visiting breweries can be memorable for the spot. Like I remember going to Modern Times in Old City, San Diego, and they had the Post-it note art mural on the wall, which was so freaking amazing. And like even just being up in New York City, Brooklyn, like walking between breweries and seeing all of the murals on the walls outside, and sometimes like the area or the art or just the feeling, or going to a place and like hearing live music. Those can be memorable reasons to be at places too.
Yeah, I think my most memorable like brewery experiences are probably places we've gone for the podcast, because like it's just, you don't experience a brewery like that when you just go as like a citizen. And I'm not the kind of person to like when I'm out by myself, I don't my head's down and don't talk a lot, so doing the podcast puts me into that position that I wouldn't otherwise be in, getting the behind the scenes tour. And for some reason, I always go back to the time we went to Turkey Hill Brewing. I don't remember.
Boilo.
Yeah, I remember the Boilo. I don't remember much about the beers we drank, but it was such a cool night. And so many people came out to hang while we did the podcast. We had the Boilo. It was right after Christmas or right before. So it was cold and there was snow on the ground and there were still Christmas lights. It was just such an amazing experience. And that just stands out. There's a lot of those in the course of our podcast, but that's one that just popped in my head. And yeah, it's more about the experience I had there than any particular beer that I remember.
My favorite was Spellbound when they tried to make a beer that was spicy enough for me. That's fun. When they go out of their way to do something special because they know we're coming, that's always Or those unexpected connections, like Dumpster Possum at Tonewood. The random stuff that you connect with when you go. Yeah, no, but you're right. We get a different perspective and we get to experience the brewery in a different way, from a different perspective. And that's definitely more meaningful. And you hope that people appreciate that. Whenever I go to Mad Chef and people are like, oh, have you been here before? The food is so amazing. Have you tried this?
Have you tried Johnny Doe? Yeah, I named it, bitch.
I don't want to pull that card. I used to judge his homebrew before he was professional. No, but it's just so neat to see a brewery like that we've been connected to them as people way before they even opened their professional spot, and it's fresh eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and by the way, we went for brunch. It was so good.
I saw.
It was so good. I mean, that won't surprise anyone, but
speaking of brunch, and this is totally unrelated and random, Jess and I went to go to this. There's a diner in Jersey. I think it's called Silver Point Diner that does a brunch and supposedly has a really good vegan menu. And we were originally going to go to a different diner in Jersey that has a full vegan menu and a regular menu that she had been to before. But then she heard about this other place, so we decided we'd go there. Drove there. It was a half-hour drive. And there was a car show going on. There were crazy concept vehicles all over the parking lot and flags up all over the place and just this huge crowd of people all around the diner. So we left and went to the place we were originally going to go to, which was another half-hour away. But there was nothing on their social media or anything about this event going on. And there was no sign specifically saying what the event was. It was just really weird. We just randomly happened upon this weird event gathering at this place we were trying to go to. Very random.
Another beer that I brought home from Workhorse, which I don't think you guys will believe that I bought this beer. It's called Par Punch.
Oh, is that? I might actually have a 4-pack of that at Bridget's place.
Yeah, it's I'm assuming it's par because a golfing reference.
Yep.
A golfing beer. So it is a golden ale.
It's a hazy golden ale, right?
It's brewed with, it's a tropical punch aromas mixed blend of citrus juices, mango, and pineapple. So not a beer that I would want to drink, but I will tell you, it is good.
Nice. Good. Yeah, I haven't cracked any of these open yet. Her brother-in-law gave me the 4-pack last time we were over there, and I feel so bad that I haven't tried it yet. I want to. I really want to. I'm sure it's going to be good. I trust Workhorse.
Yeah, no, it is
just
good.
In your fridge.
It's refreshing, and I think that I guess I need to get out of the mindset of that fruit beers are always going to be super viscous or contain lactose or thick and gross and smoothie because it's not that at all. It's delightful.
Good.
That's all.
Good.
But I know Dan, you enjoy golfing, so I'm I'll grab a can of the golf beer.
Well, last time I went golfing.
I know.
Things happen.
We don't need to talk about that.
No, yeah. I know. I want to try it. I think I'm probably going to have dinner at her place tomorrow, and I will be sure to open one of those.
That's nice. I wasn't going to say quite tasty. I'm trying to.
I was waiting for it.
Lame adjectives.
Wayne, you'll know what I'm talking about here. I was watching GMM last week, and Rhett said quite tasty.
What's GMM?
I could see him saying that. Yeah.
It's a daily YouTube show that Wayne got me hooked on years ago. Good Mythical Morning.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Funny
just-
because I got Dan into it and I haven't watched it in years.
yeah. No, I still watch it pretty much every day.
I
but
follow
yeah,
them on the socials. I
Yeah.
see their posts,
I feel
but
like
I
that's
don't
the
really
more
watch the
important
show.
thing these days.
the socius.
The socials. I do want to give a shout out to Evergreen, who hooked up some beer for
Yeah.
my recent wedding.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed the beer, and it was, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. It was the Vivify Red Ale, American Red. Also had Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and the Yards Philly Special, or Philly Standard
Yeah.
rather. Philly Standard really good. I got the Pale Ale because I knew some people would want a hoppy beer, and that's as hoppy as I was willing to go. But I did want to give a shout out to Evergreen for helping hook me up with a couple of cases of that beer. I only picked that beer because I wanted like a different style from the other two, and I like a good red ale, but I really dug it, and
It was so
it was
good.
so good.
Yeah.
it was so good. And I don't think I'd had it before. I had it the first time I had it was when I went the day to pick up the cases. So I was going to buy it regardless, even though I hadn't had it. It was the first time I had it, and then we had dinner there too. It was really good. I had some really good poutine.
Oh, the food there is always on point. That chicken
really
sandwich
good.
is so good. That is my second favorite hot chicken sandwich.
Nice. Yeah, I saw the hot chicken sandwich on the menu. Thought of you.
Should have gotten it.
Didn't order it. No.
No,
I told you I had the Nashville hot chicken and sweet potato pancakes
Oh, right.
at that like Yard House. It's like a chain that tries to be like a cool brewery
Yeah.
restaurant, but it's just like a TGI Fridays. But
With a lot more beers.
yeah, but with some good beers. That's good beers.
If
with that.
TGI Fridays ditched the suspenders
Yeah, pretty much. But it came with hot
The
honey.
pieces of flair.
and the pieces.
Dude, there's a lot of extracurricular activities that happen at the firm I work for, and like there's always like this like little like when your evaluation comes around they will look at how many they use, and I'm always like, why do I not have enough pieces of flair? Like, do I have to sit and listen to some webinar? Whatever. I forget what my point was. Oh, the hot
honey.
chicken and waffles. Yeah, the hot honey smelled like diapers.
Oh no!
And I know I've said this before, but not like the plastic, like freshly manufactured, not like soiled diapers.
Not butyric acid.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
slightly better.
But like this like weird plasticky smell, and it was specifically the hot honey.
Hot
And I know
honey's
you're-
having a moment.
Yeah, well, and I know you're a bit of a connoisseur of Nashville hot chicken. I know hot honey is kind of adjacent, and I know it's having a moment, and you're plugged into these sort of things. So I didn't know if this was just a particularly bad hot honey, or is there like some weird off aroma that comes from?
You know,
hot honey?
I can't remember the last time I had hot honey anywhere, but it makes sense that they would serve it with something like that because I mean, you want to get the sweetness out of it, but you want to keep the spice level up.
Yeah, it was one of those where it didn't taste anything like it. Like it tasted fine, but it had a smell.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I saw Athletic Brewing brewed a spicy beer.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Did you
I
order
may
it?
need to. No, well, I still have several 6-packs from the last order that we placed, but is it? I want to say it was habanero. I have a full-time fact checker now.
I say, why don't we just fact check it?
Why don't we just fact check it?
You have
Also
devices
because-
in front of you.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it right now, and I'm typing with one hand and looking off to the side and not listening because I'm typing. This is why
Right.
we don't fact check.
Right.
It does. It takes away from the flow of the conversation. I
It
feel
really
like.
does.
I think that's why we don't fact check as much as we do.
Mango Picante IPA,
Yeah.
habanero. Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I was going to be right. I was going to say mango habanero, and then I was like, am I just thinking of mango hob? But
No, that's what it is.
let me
Classic combo.
I did grab a can of their black IPA, which I think I also drank when we had our friends from Pink Boots on. It's just like if you're gonna drink a few, I always like to have an Athletic in the mix nearby.
Yeah.
So then if I like feel like I want one more, but I know I shouldn't have one more, then it's there.
I think
And they are so good at making IPAs, and I feel like Athletic Brewing is making me fall in love with IPAs again.
Oh.
And I feel like that's absurd, but it's true.
It's a very circuitous route to get
Right?
to IPAs. Yeah.
It really is, but I'm not sad about it.
What should I order for my next one from them? I think I have one or two more cans of the stout left. But I saw that they had, as part of their subscription thing, they had like more lager options Because last time
they have a Hellas coming out.
I remember seeing that. Yeah, I think I want to try the light. Last time I had the like Cerveza.
The light is really good.
Yeah, I want to try the light. And they had some coffee something or other that I want to try too.
Did we get the coffee? Oh no, there's a new coffee one that actually.
Yeah, like there were sponsored ads for it. Yeah, I think so.
Sped up or souped up?
Souped up? Souped up sounds familiar.
Yeah. Super coffee. They also have one called Personal Record.
I just can't get over the variety of styles that they're releasing.
Yeah.
Mango turmeric.
This was definitely spicier than I was expecting in a beer, and I didn't like it. Couldn't even finish the 6-pack. Oh, maybe it's for me then.
You should reach out to that person and see if you can get the rest of their beer.
Burns my throat on the way down a bit. I'm definitely ordering that.
The fuck do they think is going to happen with a spicy beer?
Okay, well, hello. If you've listened to anything I've said in the last 10 years of recording this podcast,
I haven't.
People say ghost pepper beer, habanero beer, jalapeno beer, and it tastes like peppers, and they're afraid to put the heat in it. Like, if you're going to tell me there's habaneros in it, there better be habaneros in it.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody actually likes just the flavor of a habanero. You have a habanero to have the heat.
Oh, I disagree. I think a habanero is one of the tastiest peppers out there.
Really?
No one likes the flavor of a ghost pepper. They're gross. Habaneros have a delightful flavor.
Do they? Maybe I've just had bad habaneros along the way.
Yeah. I feel like the hottest peppers, their flavor is just like bitter. Right? I mean, I know it's hot, but it's almost like a bitter char flavor. But yeah, the less hot ones are like
when
fruity.
we make curry, habanero is my go-to pepper for a curry. I mean, you have to be very delicate with how much you put in because you don't want a curry to burn your face off. Well, it depends, but I mean, jalapenos, they are my favorite. I love jalapenos. I eat raw jalapenos. I eat pickled jalapenos. I eat jalapeno relish. I think that is from our grandfather that I have this love of jalapenos. But of the spicier peppers, I really enjoy the flavor of a habanero.
Wow. Okay. I guess I've just had bad habaneros.
And probably my favorite not spicy pepper would be a poblano.
That's a solid pepper.
I love a poblano. Serranos are quite lovely too, but Serranos can be like they can sneak up on you.
Also, just never underestimate a bell pepper. They're not spicy, I know, but they're flavorful. They can make any dish.
If you get a colored bell pepper, a green bell pepper is pretty boring.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
like
still a good
green
flavor.
Bell pepper.
Yeah, it still helps.
I think I like comforting, boring flavor.
I think I like red a little bit better. Orange is pretty good.
Orange, we grew orange ones last year. They were lovely. I also love a banana pepper.
I was just going to ask your stance on banana peppers.
And we grew
cherry peppers?
banana peppers last year, and holy crap, were they hot!
Yeah, we're growing banana peppers this year, and I can't wait for them to actually like sprout and be peppers so I can have them.
They are so delicious pickled. Like, I
really want to start pickling things.
You should, and you can there are quick picklings. So you have to keep them refrigerated after you pickle, but that's my preferred method. It's usually, cleaning and cutting and de-seeding as much as you want the pepper, and then boiling the water, vinegar, whatever ratio and whatever spices you put in, and just pouring that over the peppers right in the jar, letting it cool, and then keeping it in the fridge. And they'll be good for months. It's a lot easier than put the whole can in the boiling water, and I don't have time for that.
So when you say we've done like pickled red onions.
Oh yes,
which is very good.
Yeah,
but so when you say quick pickling, does that always involve heating? Like, is the heat? Because usually when you don't, you could replace time with heat in a lot of processes, and I'm wondering if the quick is the heating. Is that what makes it quick, or can you quick pickle something without heat?
When I mean quick, I mean we don't go through the process where you can it and it's shelf stable. Right. I don't do that part. The quick, I mean, is you pickle it and it goes in the fridge, and then you have to consume it a lot faster. You can cold pickle as well.
Yeah, I've done quick cold pickling before. Okay. And it turned out pretty. It wasn't peppers. It was just like actual pickles I was trying to make, cucumber into pickles. And yeah, it turned out okay. I could tell that they were still mostly cucumber, but it got the job done.
Yeah, I've heard quick pickling, and I wasn't sure like what specifically makes something a quick pickling, like if that's a specific process.
Well, or I am not an expert on this at all, and I am happy with my process, and I like what I create. So that is my statement that I'm issuing before I say that. I do think though that if you boil you're pickling liquid and spices first, I do think that you can consume the pickle sooner than if you just put it in cold. I think the actual pickling process will occur a little bit faster because you've boiled it.
Right, because it's molecular motion.
And that is my scientific hypothesis and based on my experience with the pickling that I do. Not that I am an expert.
Well, it's like...
And I don't care to be an expert because what I'm doing works for me and I make really tasty shit.
Well, that all those matters. Like, yeah, if you're doing it for yourself at home, as long as it's not dangerous. Like
one piece of advice I will give you, if you ever want to pickle entire peppers, like we grow those pepperoncini peppers, you do want to put a little slice in the pepper before you
so it gets in.
Pickle them. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's my advice for that.
I just see, Jess and I watch a ton of cooking shows, and I'm always seeing people pickling, and usually quick pickling because it's usually like a time competition or whatever. Yeah. Pickling all kinds of shit. I'm like, I bet you that's good. I want to do that. I want to
pickled cauliflower is amazing. I love pickled red onions. Like that is now a staple.
That elevates
they have
everything.
To be in our fridge at all times. Yeah, you can buy them at the grocery store in the pickle section. I didn't even know. So I always keep some in our pantry in case I need them and I haven't pickled any. So we just have them ready to go. You buy your pickled banana peppers, your pickled jalapenos, your pickled cucumbers, and pickled onions all in the same aisle. I love it. This is at Wegmans, by the way. I've never seen them at any other grocery store.
That kind of feels like a Wegmans thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
store pickles. So if they use like fake coloring, to me, I can sense a very unpleasant aftertaste when I eat pickled things. So I have to make sure, like if I'm buying pickled banana peppers, for example, I have to make sure the coloring is turmeric and not like that 40.
Yellow number 40. Yeah.
I can sense the aftertaste from that coloring. So that's why I usually buy those things at Wegmans, because I know they're organic brand. They use the turmeric. But I have so many freaking pickled banana peppers left from last summer in our fridge that I won't be buying. They're still good even now.
If you're looking to offload any of them, just say the word.
Well, I'll wait till I make fresh ones this year.
Okay.
Then I'll give you the fresh ones. But I have gifted many because pepper plants, they produce and produce and produce.
Yeah.
Jess just planted a bunch of stuff. I think one of them was peppers. I don't remember.
Already in April?
I think we're
she
doing...
did the little starter guys in the egg carton.
I think we're doing jalapenos. We're doing banana peppers, like 8 different kinds of tomato, because for some reason she loves tomatoes. What the fuck else? I don't remember what else. I'm just so excited for the peppers to come in. Man, that's going to be so good.
Yeah, we're doing 8 different tomatoes, 8 different peppers, and then we always have an herb garden that's pretty stocked.
Last year,
I know mint's super easy to grow, but like it just grows everywhere, and that's what scares me.
Our neighbor, remember?
You can control it. We brew our own iced tea, and we'll throw a sprig of mint in the tea when we brew it.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
It's lovely.
Stan and Arlene.
Yep.
Our neighbors in Reading growing up, this elderly couple.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Next door to us when we were kids, and he grew mint, and he would give us mint leaves to chew on all the time.
So good.
My God.
Yeah, it's good. A fresh mint leaf is... I don't like peppermint flavor or like mint chocolate, but like fresh mint.
Yeah.
Things can be really good. We did last year. Jess planted a bunch of things, but the only thing that worked out was rosemary and basil, and we made some pretty good pesto twice.
Oh yeah, those are good things to have on hand.
Yeah.
Oregano does really well. Thyme, sage, the rosemary definitely does really well. Dill, we have to plant new dill every year, but when it's fresh, that's what I use in my red skin potato salad. Fresh dill from the garden.
And it all goes back to red skin potato salad.
Although I don't always love dill in a potato salad. I do like dill.
I don't understand the words that you just said.
I know. It's like, especially red potato salad, like it's supposed to have
Why
dill,
would you eat potato salad without dill?
I
literally buy dried dill in those big bags purely for potato salad.
For potato salad?
Yeah. Wow.
Because what they call for is never enough dill.
It's like garlic. There's never enough.
Duh.
True. My latest obsession is making gravy. We started making this vegan meatloaf recipe. and I found a gravy recipe for it, and I've just been tweaking this gravy over and over again.
Well, you will have to send me the recipe.
Yeah, it's mostly onions.
The other night, so we were driving out to Poor Man's, and
Vegetable stock.
Jess was sick and couldn't make it, and Wayne was talking about like how he thought it was food poisoning because he had something earlier, and he's like,
yeah, that's right.
I think I
your
served
old
her a bit of
gravy.
bad gravy. And it's like, oh, ha, ha, ha. And he keeps going on with the story. I'm like, oh, you mean actual gravy. I thought that was just like an idiom that you were trying to use.
Yeah. So we made the meatloaf, and I made the gravy, and we had leftovers. We finished everything, but there was still a little bit of gravy left. Put it in the fridge, forgot about it. Like a week or so later, I decided I want to make a vegan stroganoff because we have these vegan beef tips in the freezer and no idea what to do with them. So I'm like, I'm going to tweak my gravy. I'm going to look up some stroganoff gravies and figure out how to make a vegan stroganoff gravy. So I did. And then we ate that. It was good. Then we had some leftovers. And then a few days later, I wanted to finish off it, but we made too many noodles for the amount of sauce that I had. So when I reheated it, I was like, oh, I still have that old gravy from the meatloaf. I'm going to mix that in with the pasta to gravify it even more. And I'm pretty sure.
Gravify?
Yeah, gravify it even more. And I think that's what got her, because my stomach was a little rough the next morning too, but I felt good after like an hour or two. But yeah. We also didn't go to New York. She started feeling better.
Oh, yeah.
We started packing up. We started getting ready. And she was like, I don't want to be on a bus for 2 hours and like, have diarrhea.
No,
So
I don't blame her.
we were like, yeah, let's not, which is a bummer. But we weren't going to see, we were going to stay with our cousin David. But he had said he wasn't really going to be around much anyway. We were just basically going to be like crashing at his place. But so I was like, well, we're not going to see him much. So we'll do another. But, we paid for tickets to a show that we didn't go to, which is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
That stings.
Yeah, but we have lots of other trips coming up.
Well, that's good. Well, it feels good doing like a hostful-ish episode again. It's been a while. When was the last time it was just the three of us?
I feel like
Probably like early pandemic.
Yeah, but it hasn't been quite that long. It hasn't been like 5 years.
No.
I don't know.
And before that, I think there was only one other one, and then it was like back in the single digits was when we like actually did hostful episodes, because people didn't really take a chance on us then, and now they don't have to take a chance because we can do it on Zoom. You don't have to leave your house, and we can just do a podcast. It's so great. I just lean over into my fridge and grab a beer. Everything's good. Everything's coming up Millhouse. But this was a lot of fun, and we're trying to think of things to do to kind of revitalize and keep things fresh, because we have been doing it for almost 10 years. And if you've been along for the ride the entire time, thank you. If this is your first time listening, thank you too. And anywhere and everywhere in between, we are happy to have you along. And I hope that you will follow along on the other places on the internet. On Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, we are at Beer Busters. On Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. You can always check out beerbusterspodcast.com, and don't forget to use /shop at the end of that URL so you can get cool things like face masks, like Topher was telling us that he likes. Thank you for buying those, Topher. YouTube, we are Beer Busters Podcast, and there's, of course, patreon.com/beerbusters, and we're going to record some Patreon-exclusive stuff after this. I refuse to say the word content, except for when I call out the word content, because that word's been bastardized. But patreon.com/beerbusters, as little as $1 a month gets you access to all the behind-the-scenes stuff and all the extra stuff. And, of course, buy your tickets for Effort of Brewfest, damn it!
Do it now.
It's a really cool event. Do it now. We were there years where it sold out while people were waiting to buy tickets to get in, and they couldn't do it. Just buy it now. Avoid that hassle. Do it now. You will not regret it. It's always a fun time. I'm trying to figure out in my brain how all this works, but I'm just going to hit the button.
Unfortunately.
Oh, God, it was muted. Son of a bitch.
Unfortunately, it was muted.
Unfortunately, this does bring us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters. And seriously, thank you for hanging with us again and coming back for more. And we love that you are here. Follow along on all the web stuff, as we said. Drink local beer. I don't know, man. There's 20 more seconds. I'm Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and the Demented and Fermented,
Wayne Baker.
I was wondering if you were going to do that. Remember, it's not about the liquid. It is about the experience. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
It's really about the content.
You motherfucker.